Hey guys, it's Josh from Cardfight Empire here today. Back again with our ARG Championship Series for the ARG States. I am joined here today with Mr. Kyle, but I will let himself introduce himself further.
Hi, I'm Kyle Warfield. Uh, some of you know me on YouTube as Scarecrow Kaiser 17. Yeah, I'm from like the Detroit area.
Okay. You played Gear Chronicle in the ARG, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So I see your build here. Why don't you talk about like a little bit about the event and like how did you enjoy the event or
yeah, it's fun. Like in the Detroit area, I'm one of the admins and like two of like our groups, so I put a lot of effort into like I'm the one who like keeps track of all the events going on. I post about it in like the community and try to keep everyone aware of it. So like usually once we get to like a tournament like that, like it's really cool to like have all that effort put in and get like it to like turn out well and stuff. Like this was a new store for running like the ARG states. All the other ones we've ever done have always been at a different store, and this store just now picked them up. So I didn't know how that one would go, but
they turned out pretty well
yeah,
or
it
pretty good?
was it was kind of for a while there was like an issue because on the ARG's page it listed that this store was going to be doing it, which most people were already assuming it was going to be at the old location,
Yeah.
but they had put it at this new one. And then on the ARG page, it didn't tell. It said like they were doing it, but it didn't say what day or what time.
Okay.
And I, lots of people, no one was really calling and checking and stuff. And then it got to like 2 weeks before, and then I called and checked myself and found it out and tried to let everyone know. And there was probably more people that would have shown up, but it still turned out like it had good attendance.
Mm. Okay. That's good that like, it always feels good to schedule something and have it go well. Um, so I'm definitely glad it went well for you. Um, it sounds kind of funny in logic because you're like, yeah, I arranged the event and I beat them all.
This is like this is the like the third or fourth time I've won the states.
Okay, in a row? Oh,
Not
wow.
well, it's the third time in a row, but not the fourth time like I've actually won it. There was one time where me and the guy we just like flipped the coin to see who got first or second so that we could go home and just split the
Ah,
prizes. And
okay.
then like this is the third time in a row I've won it, but
Wow, that's amazing. What have you played in like past years that has won?
uh last time we had it, I played Prisms. The time before that, this is the one that usually like surprises people, is when I played Ancient Dragons and went 7-0.
Okay. Do you
That
like
was that was the same weekend that the Legend deck came out, so it was before G Guardians were out.
okay.
And but I went 7-0 that day with that deck. That was really fun.
Yeah, and it's like it's really good early game rush, right?
Yeah, it's that's what I like about it versus Gaia, is that you can do early game plays and stuff. And like one thing I got to do a lot that caught the coolest part of the deck was, do you know about the loop they have with their the what's his name, the Spino grade 2, the Hypno Hang, whatever his name is.
No, I don't.
So the cross ride of the break ride, when you ride him, the turn you rode him, if you retire one of your cards, you can counterblast and revive that card.
Okay.
And this grade 2 says, after I've attacked the Vanguard, you can retire a rear guard, stand me and give me +3. So I would like there was one guy, he was playing Revengers, and I killed him before he got to ride a grade 3 because
Really?
he had made me go first game 2. I won game 1 and game 2 he made me go first. On turn 3, I rode the Spino, called 2 of the grade 2, attack for 9, sacrifice someone to restand and revive it, and then attack for 12, then attack with the other rearguard column, sacrifice the card who had already attacked, restand this one, counterblast, revive it, attack for 12, attack for 9, sacrifice the guy who's already attacked to restand, revive the guy I just sacrificed, attack for
Holy
12,
crap.
attack for 9, sacrifice, revive.
That's crazy. So just like an endless loop?
It's based on like your counterblast, but for like every counterblast you have like 2 or 3 additional attacks. So if you have 2 face-up
Wow.
damage, you can do like 7 attacks.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Never heard of that before. I know one of my friends plays Ancient Dragons, but like he doesn't do that. He just like uses it for like early game rush.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like when you ride Dino Crowd turn 2 and stuff.
yeah, right. Stuff like that. And then also, I guess with that being said, are you excited about like all the Tachi stuff that's coming into play from BTMT?
I am like Gaia. He's cool. I was hoping for a little bit more, but I'm also not disappointed. I kind of feel like he's about as good as Wailing Thalvis was. He's more of like a utility card than like a replacement for Dogma, because like he gives you a way to like board wipe some situations like where you're playing like Link Joker now you can like, because Link Joker is like the worst matchup for a Tachikaze deck,
Yeah.
because all they have to do is lock one rear guard and you're blocked out of Dogma mode. So at
Hmm.
least like giving Gaia, who can like board wipe them and stuff, gives you like alternative plays.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's definitely good. I know when I went to ARG North Carolina, I played against a Tachikaze player who was talking to me about his like bad matchups and stuff like that. And that was before we knew that the card was revealed, obviously, or like the stuff was revealed for BT10. So I'm guessing like wherever he is, he's really happy about that. And then so, do you remember like any of your rounds like leading up to, or like how many rounds were there?
There was 5 rounds of Swifts, and then there was the top 8.
Okay.
Round one, I played against Victor. I 2-0'd him. Game one was a pretty normal game. Game two, uh, he he pushed me really hard, so I didn't have a lot I could do back. But I strode into Revolution. I had no board, so I was like, I'll just wipe his board, and even if he survives using up like, because he had like a 5 card hand, at least he'll have no board and barely any cards left.
Okay.
And when I attacked, he decided that he was just going to no guard, because if he used his hand to guard, he'd have nothing to kill me with. And I
Mm,
got the crit win there. Round
okay.
two, I played Luard Diablo. He was the only person who made me go to game three that day. He got me game one by he did the start of ride phase, use Luard's skill for ritual, ride Diablo, stride into Diablo.
Yeah, Spectral
Yeah,
Blaster Diablo,
yeah,
and then the Hoel
yeah.
plays and the nonsense.
He got me with the I can't guard move,
Okay, gotcha.
and then I got him game two and three. Uh, Game two was really cool. I was able to like I got the stride first, and I got to because I rode the old school Chrono Jet, sent back a card, and then I called Calibum and sent back his starter,
Mm,
and I was able to like wipe his board before it got to his turn, so that he couldn't like use the
use
cost.
a little hard. Yeah, that seems like the best thing to do to like before they get to their turn, because I know in the ARG states in Georgia that I won, in one of my rounds I fought a Luard player, and basically I run the like I know it's not in your build, but in my build I run one of the grade one that like when it's behind the Vanguard, after Vanguard attack you
It
can
can
Soul
time leap.
Blast one, yeah, and it time loops itself, and so it's not like G break. So a lot of times like when I open with it in my hand, like I'll ride grade one, and then I'll call TikTok worker to the rearguard circle, and then I'll play that as a booster, and then I'll attack, and then literally when I get to turn two, I ride grade two, and then I'll play another grade two on the left side. So then I'll
Yeah,
attack with grade two on the left side, then attack with Vanguard, and then time leap itself into Calibum if that's their only
uh,
card on the field.
Calibum is a really good card.
Yeah, and then they
I
just like literally ride into Luard and.
Yeah.
you know.
I every time I drew Luard for my second turn, I was like so happy. I'm like, I love playing this card.
Yeah, it's so good. Obviously, like for good reason, they would run it at like 3 or like so in Japan. I've never seen like a build with 4, but I've never seen a build in Japan with like none, pretty much. But
Yeah.
they usually run it at like 2 or 3. So 1 seems kind of pointless. 4 seems like too many. So like 2 to 3 seems like the sweet spot for that card. Also, like, what do you think about like the ban list coming up and how it
Oh,
affects you?
I was hoping, like, cause I have the deck, so it would obviously affect me. But I was still hoping that they would have banned like. I think the best thing to do would have been to ban Mellum and Upstream, because as long as those two exist, every grade 1 and 0 they make from now on, they have to go, well, how good is this card going to be because of Upstream and Mellum? Because those cards can just go grab this card. Like, Upstream's not that good right now, but if they make, like, a really, really busted grade 1, like,
Yeah,
as good as Urwatar is or whatever.
right. And it's like even so, like um, upstream now can still grab like Kusina and Takeaway, and like a lot of times in my games, I'll go like um, upstream here, Mellum here, TikTok worker that I started with behind Vanguard, and then I'll play like a 7K behind Mellum. So then like literally freaking upstream will attack, and then I'll move a grade 1 into the back behind there, then Mellum will attack, time leap, history
Yeah.
maker 0, and then it's like literally so ridiculous if that card
Uh,
that you got
and,
is
like, if
go ahead.
Mellum didn't exist, I don't think Urwatar would be a problem.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't. It's the combination of those two
And
that
like
hurts.
Chrono Fang is already like not that good of a deck, and to take away Urwatar from it just hurts it even more.
Exactly. And it's like in the ban list they pretty much like I think they did a very good job at like targeting decks that they were trying to hit except for Gear Chronicle, because like for Gear Chronicle what made like Chrono Jet so good and like I guess the hand advantage was just like crazy was Urwater Mellum. And so Urwater Mellum like had to be hit, but then like all the
Putting
other gear decks use that too, so
and putting him at 1 is almost like pointless because you're like, well, I only need one. Because
exactly.
Melon grabs it, and then he puts himself back, and then the Melon will get it again. Like it's almost like redundant.
Right. Yeah, it's just like the only useful thing I saw about it is that you could have like extra ones in your hand, and as
For when
well,
you try with like Chrono Jet G and stuff.
right, exactly. And then like in my build, like I ran like a very control centered build. So in my build, I run 4 warp drives, because like in the gear mirror match and like some other matches, I like to like return cards more without having to like. That's basically my way to original Chrono Jet. But I also get a time leap off of it. So a lot of times, like, let's say that I would go first turn Metallica Phoenix and I'd flip a warp drive, and then the next turn after that, like a warp drive, a lot of people don't know this, but warp drives G flip, like when it says you can flip a G zone unit, that's optional. So you don't have to flip. So a lot of times, like I'll go into Metallica Phoenix, flip a warp drive, and then I'll go into the warp drive second turn, and then I won't flip if I only have 1 or water. But if I have 2, then I can flip 2 and like time leap 2 or waters. It keeps you from like having to time lead multiple units and also like wasting turns of going into more warp drive dragons. So literally, you just get like 3 turns of Warp Drive Dragons if you never flip it with it, and then you literally have like next stage Chronos Command Revolution, another Metallica Phoenix after that. It's just like the turns are like. I'm pretty sure that I would never make it through my whole G zone. Like, no, I'm pretty sure no one can make it through entire geared G zone because they're just like the stride pool is too strong for you to make it through all of it and be standing. And then even if you did, like, there's Chronojet G, like, looking at you in the face, like, hey, I'm 56. Like, so, um, so yeah, basically, that did really well. I definitely saw that in your list you ran so you ran 5G guards, same as, like, I'll see, like, 5G guards every so often or 4, so that's, like, pretty normal. But usually when it's 5G guards, it's usually 2 Urlu, 2 Hetero Round, 1 Rapana. You ran 2 Rapana. Do you want to talk about why?
I have a very good reason for that, actually. I was playing two of her because I realized how good she is against VMAX. Because like I was
Mm.
playing someone at a locals and they went into VMAX, and I realized, oh, I was like, oh, I can do this. So I guard with her, at her send back one of his attack targets, and call out TikTok to a rear guard circle that wasn't being targeted. Plus, that meant my Vanguard was also being guarded for 25. So I got to guard 25 on my Vanguard, get rid of his attack targets, and make sure the field wouldn't be empty when his attack was done.
Yeah, I also don't know if you know, but Bushiroad like released a statement about that. And if you use anything that like moves a unit or gets rid of a unit that you're targeting, even though it's targeting the circle, since a new unit comes in when the circle is being targeted, the old unit or the new unit does not get hit by VMAX. So even if you were to move it back into a circle where VMAX was targeting that circle, it wouldn't be hit by VMAX.
Oh, that's cool.
So which
Yeah,
is
I
really
guess
good.
it works either way, but that's when I was like, oh, it's because I had been considering beforehand, should I play Dismal just in case? And then I realized, oh, I could just do this. This is much better. Like,
Right. So that you don't have to worry about like randomly suffering to
yeah, and then I
VMAX's
can just
death.
have like two copies of a 25K shield that searches out TikTok worker.
Right. It's really, really good. I definitely agree with your choice. When I saw it, I was like, I might do that. But literally, that is really, really good. You ran one square, one dragon. Most people I know just switched to like straight Chronojet G and Chronojet. Did you just like keeping one square dragon?
I like playing the one like I'm so thankful for that card. Like it gives you so like normally I would have to like stop, but because like he exists, I can just keep going with certain plays. Like I can like if I have like a tick, I can like TikTok Melum into delayed blazer to time late my history maker into square one, and then I still have my TikTok left, and then I can go with the delayed blazer and have square one attack, and then TikTok to square one into Melum, and
Mm.
I like, and then like the other cool thing is I like that when you go to the end of your turn, before you put him back in the deck, you can resolve his soul charge effect, then put him back, so that you still get like a free soul charge out of it.
Right. So in your build, what do you? Well, I guess like what would you really soul charge for?
Heterohound Dragon, and I used to be playing what's her name?
GG.
Soul Blast, yeah, Gigi.
Okay.
But I guess nowadays it's mostly for like Chronojet, Gear Groovy, Heterohound.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like really, really solid. Um, so yeah, another thing is like delayed blazer. Do you just like that card a lot, or
I
how do you feel
didn't
about it?
used to like the card. I used to like think it was really redundant because I'd always ride it turn one on turn two, and then like it never come up, and then lately in like the last like month or so, like it's just been working perfectly for me now, and now I just think it's like amazing. I used to not like it because it would never like I'd always been in a situation where it wasn't good, but
Okay.
now like in the last month at least, like every time it turns out to be like really helpful.
Hmm. Okay. Well, that's definitely good. You ran 3 Calibums, as we talked about before. You ran 4 Melums for the unflip. And then you ran or sorry, not 4 Melums, 4 Arlums.
Yeah.
Arlum, Melum. What's the difference, right? But so you ran 4 Melum and 4 Arlum, and you ran Kulusina. Do you want to talk a little bit about how much you like that, or?
I like her a lot. Like the because the set had just come out just before then. She came out and I was like, I'm gonna try this card out, and I ended up really, really liking her. She's so good because you can easily go get her with like upstream and stuff. And every time she comes out, you're like, well, I'm getting back a TikTok worker. You can get back something too and give me a free unflip, but I'm still getting back TikTok whether you like it or not.
Right. And that's like the kind of thing that I like about it because I was gonna run it in my build and I was like trying it out in my post banless build and I was like, oh, this is really really good because literally it's almost like too tempting for your opponent. Like if you need counterblast, you put it out and then you're like, you see this chronotherapy hamster heal trigger? Yeah, it's going back to my deck. Would you like to put one of your triggers back? And then they're like, oh, of course I would. That sounds like really optimal play. But I also don't want them to unflip. And it's like,
Yeah.
And then like sometimes like they're just tempted to just instantly put it back. So
between her, like Uluru and Tickaway, like I could like just reload my deck with triggers and key pieces like TikTok Worker and Delayed Blazer. Like it was so good. I'm really like playing her, and I like that she doesn't have to be like Mesh Key where she has to be put into play by Time Leap. Just anytime you throw her down there, she goes off.
Yeah, I wish that even if Mesh Kia, I was playing her before too. When I was playing in the North Carolina regionals, and the thing that like would make Mesh Kia broken in my opinion and worth running is it's not the Time Leap that like
or if she could turn.
Well, yeah, it's like Time Leap from deck. So if she could like get Time Leaped, then come back and do it again, like broken.
Like if you have like a Tickaway out, so that you could get the card from when you Time Leaped her, and then when she returns, you're like, I'll put another card back and I'll draw again, and
exactly. So it would be like really really strong. So you ran one Vainglory Gear Cat. Do you want to talk about that card, or how much did it help you during the day?
He's just in there because you can tutor him out with Mellum. Usually, if I'm my last attack with Mellum, and I can't really continue on anything else, I can just go get him, and because if I have the heal in hand, and then on their turn they'll go to attack with their rear guard or whatever. I can do the Hetero Hound play, send back the Gear Cat, get my Vanguard +10. Like I use that play like probably almost every game, like if not every other game. And it's just so good because you mess up their field and give your Vanguard +10. And sometimes if you're on old school Chronojet and you don't end up using the cat, and then it gets to your turn, you can stride, spin one of their cards back, stride into the next stage, and then you could have the cat give +10 to the booster behind the Vanguard. So when you change back into Chronojet, you'll have like a 15k, 17k boost to your Chronojet's attack.
And that's something that I really like about it too, is because like I was telling you before, I ran in my build Warp Drive Dragon, and so when you either like, let's say that you didn't need to use it or whatever, or it was just like suboptimal to header around, even if it would like give your Vanguard +10, because there's just some situations. Can't think of one now.
It's not worth it. Yeah.
Exactly, and you just like think about it and you're just like, it's not worth giving them another attack. Like if their Vanguard like the Dark Irregular deck, if the Vanguard gives the front row like a plus continuous of like 22, I'm not gonna header around it so that they can get like anything, and any like a 4k draw trigger will be a 26k attack hitting me. So it's just like I'm not gonna give them that. I'd rather use like Raphanna or Urlu. If I'm gonna G-Guard at all. And so literally from the next turn forward, like me, I would like Warp Drive one of their units and then give +10k to something. Or if you have like, when you get like to the mid-late game and you're like, man, like Calibum is like kind of useless in my hand now. So then when you like smack down Calibum and then you use it and then give +10 to Calibum so it can actually like hit a good number. And then I know you mentioned that you had all the signed foil triggers.
Yeah.
Wish I had that. Like, literally must be nice to have all of them.
Hang on a minute, my dog's... Layla! Sorry.
That's okay.
Layla! I'll be right back.
Okay.
That was my wife. She just walked in from the grocery store.
Okay. With your dog?
No, my dog saw her coming, and that's why she was barking.
Oh, gotcha. Did I peep you wearing a Flash T-shirt?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. I'm so excited for that's like so unrelated, but I'm so excited for the Flash on Tuesday night to come back. But
Yeah.
also, I guess do you want to talk a little bit about you were on your for so as far as going through rounds, you said first round, second round, and then what was third, fourth, and fifth?
Oh yeah. First round was Victor, then Luard. Third round, I think, was a gear mirror match. Um, he was using like Chrono Dran, and his build didn't seem like as optimal, I guess. And
Hmm.
like I also had a little bit better luck going into it. At like one thing I remember that mattered a lot is like in the second game, he made me go first, and I had my Calibum on my turn two, and on his second turn he also had Calibum, but because he played that and used it like that, when I got to my third turn, I was able to not ride a grade 3, just have my Vanguard attack his Calibum, and leave him at only one counterblast so that he couldn't Sea Breeze me, and then force him to ride grade 3 and let me be the first ride.
Okay. That's
And then,
always a strong play in a gear mirror match.
yeah, and then fourth round, I played against Great Nature. And then the very last round, I think I played against Bladewing for top 8.
Okay. How was that? Was it strong, weak? Like,
It uh it was okay. It was like medium of the road. Like the Blade Master deck, I think is like really cool. That grade 3 who gives all your guys like plus 15 shield and stuff.
yeah.
But it wasn't like a particularly hard matchup. It went pretty quickly. And then for top 8, first round of top 8, I played against Raging Form, I think, which is kind of scary because that deck can rush you early on. That's what I was worried about. But game one was kind of rough. But I was able to like survive the rush, and then off my first stride, I was able to push him so hard he used up like all he had. And obviously, once Raging Form doesn't have like anything to like play, it can't actually be threatening because it needs rear guards.
Right.
And then game two it was kind of less. He didn't have as good luck as first game, and he just kind of died. Uh, Next round of top 8, I had to play the Great Nature player again that I had played previously in Swiss, and I beat him. And then in the very last round, I was surprised. I ended up playing for the final match the Victor player I had played round one of Swiss.
Oh wow. So it's like
Yeah, it was.
first round of tournament, ending the tournament. It's
Yeah,
funny because um, with Victor getting support in GBT10, I think that clan is gonna be really really strong because now that I'm talking to all the ARG champions, like almost every single one of them has mentioned like a Victor player that gave them trouble
yeah.
or
Like
beat them.
Victor seems to be like that deck that keeps doing that. Uh, like back in November when I went to the free 1K at No Limit Gaming, I made top 8 with Wise Man, but there was like one Victor player who topped, and then like seems like, and then there was like Worlds. Didn't Victor make top 8 at Worlds also?
I think so, and I think also in Japan there was a guy recently that played like Victor with Starlight Hedgehog, and then did like a bunch of combo plays with that. Like, I don't know, that deck's like super good, but it just seems weird that it's doing so well in like a control format.
Yeah, it just for some reason always seems to like at least one seems to get in there very
Yeah, like
often.
sneak its way in. And it's weird because in the tournaments, when you look at the numbers, there's usually not even that many Victor players. So it's not like a lot of them played and like one snuck in. It's like two played, one snuck in out of like 30 plus
Yeah,
people. So it's always like very, very interesting. I think that deck's going to be very, very strong, especially with the new Victor Grade 3 that they're getting.
yeah.
I
Once
think,
it gets to its strides are pushed so hard. Like first turn stride in a Victor deck is like just as scary as like a first turn like Metallica Phoenix.
yeah, especially if they have like Sazanza. Then they're about to get Buttigal, which is basically upgraded Sazanza.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a little bit ridiculous. Like, do you know what Buttigieg does?
I haven't seen that guy yet.
So it's basically whenever this card restands, it gains 5k, and then when you restand, you can counterblast one. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, and kill a guy. Yeah, I know what you're
Yeah,
talking
you
about.
can kill a guy.
He's like that grade 4 they have.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure it's when they check a grade 3 on their drive check or something like that. Something there's like some requirement, and then it kills a card. So it's basically Sazanza with an extra skill. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, thanks Bushiroad. But that deck's gonna be super super strong. Uh, can't really say. Well, I want to say I'm looking forward to it. I want to say I'm not, because like Victor's like one of my favorite decks, but it's like I don't want everyone to play Victor, because I know that will be the format if like Victor's that good, you know.
Yeah.
I'd rather keep it like this, where I see like Victor players sneaking in all over, and I'm like, yes, Victor players, like go for the glory. But like,
And then getting something like I don't think they would do this, but if like Starlight Hedgehog was not a once per turn.
yes, that would be that would be almost as ridiculous as Gears, if not more so.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just like whatever, which is funny because then we'd have a bunch of people being like, "Oh, like Nova Grapplers is so dumb," like blah blah blah, like, and it's like whatever's good, like it'll always happen. Someone will always be like, "Oh, this needs to be nerfed, this needs to be buffed," you know, so on so forth. Um, but definitely, congrats on winning the ARG. It sounds like you did a pretty good job. Sounds like you knew your matchups well, played well, had a great time. And do you think that you're going to ARG Philly for the?
I went this past summer. It's a really long drive. It's like 10 hours, but it might work if a group of people want to go. We might try to do it again.
Okay.
Like, I wanted to go to Orlando, but it was a really bad time of year because it was like the week before Christmas, and like I was like,
Yeah.
who has time to do this right now? Let alone spend money before Christmas.
Right. My whole thing with like was like I was going and it was hard to like arrange the trip because like everyone was just busy for Christmas, or preparing for Christmas, and so it was like really difficult to make it to. Even though for me, I'm in Georgia, and like Florida's right there, but like even for me, it was still a 14-hour drive. So
Yeah.
it's just like it's so ridiculous because it still takes like a
And
trip.
it's really disappointing to like have to miss an event because like the Detroit area, we don't get a lot of events that come to Detroit.
Hmm.
We usually have to like go to Chicago or Ohio, and like we got like that one ARG circuit in Detroit, and I won with that's the one I won with Thavis. It was like almost a year ago now, and then every year I usually go to Chicago for regionals, which this year was my fourth year in a row I went X1. And
Oh, that's
the
great.
the disappointing part is out of those 4 years I've gone X1. Only one of those 4 years did I actually get in the top eight. I usually
Really?
this
So
year
you went
this
top eight, or you went X1 and didn't make top eight?
yeah this year I
Wow.
got 10th. I lost. My only loss was in Swiss round 6 to Seven Seas Rush, and then I got 10th. The guy who got ninth was in table 1 at the end of Swiss. He lost and he got ninth. The year
Yeah, that's
before,
crazy.
the year before, I played Revengers and I got ninth place.
Mm,
The year before that, I played the End and I made top eight. That day, Brandon Smith used to play a lot because he
okay.
lives in like I've known him forever. I mean, him used to like play in tournaments together. He went that year too. He lost round one, won the next 7 rounds. We both finished X1. I made top eight. He didn't because it's Bushiroad. If you lose round one,
Right.
that means everybody you play for the rest of the day, you're giving them their second loss. So now they're all bad tiebreakers.
Yeah, exactly. It was if it makes you feel any better, at the ARG Atlanta, or not ARG Atlanta, Butcher Road Atlanta, regionals, the last single regionals that happened, I was playing Gears, and like every match was going good. I was like, yes, this is going really good. I think I won first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and then sixth round, I was against a Seven Seas player. but not 7C's grade 1 rush, just 7C's like played grade or plain 7C's. And my opening hand was like 00001 Mellum. And so I was like, and that was post mulligan. So I was
That
literally
was
like, and then like I rode Mellum, and then I drew into a grade 2, but then I was like, oh nice, I drew into a grade 2. So then I rode the grade 2, and then he rode the grade 3, and then when he only had his Vanguard out, so literally he rode the grade 3, and I had to keep attacking his Vanguard if I wanted drive checks. So it was literally just like when he rode the grade 3, he attacked me, got like a crit or two, and then when I went, I drew a grade 0, and I was like, okay, G assist, and then I whiffed G assist, and then the next turn I whiffed G assist again, and then like he had 4 counterblasts and just broke road, and I was like, so I lost.
At that
So I
point,
lost
you don't
that
even
game.
feel like trying anymore. You just want to scoop it, but you're like,
Exactly. You're like, I could still win because I still have gears, but it's just like this is like so tilting to finish. Like the game is so tilting. But I ended up playing like, I think there was 9 rounds total. Sorry, they announced that there was going to be 9 rounds at the very beginning of the tournament.
I remember
Then when we
that.
got to the seventh round, they were just like, oh, by the way, this is the last round. And everyone was like, what about the other 2 rounds? They were like, we have enough like undefeateds and X1s to tell who would be topper or whatever. So then we did like the 7th round.
Good old Bushiroad.
Exactly. So then I like won the 7th round, and I'm was like standing there with my friends as they're like about to announce top 8, and they were like, "Don't worry, dude, you definitely made it." And then so one of my friends is next to me that was playing Messiahs, and they're like 8th place, and they announce like his name, and then I'm like, I'm like, I think that he had better tiebreakers than me, so if anything.
Yeah.
And then they went to 7th place. I was like, literally my only choice or my only chance is like for 7th or 6th. So literally like they announced him, then they announced another random person, then they announced another random person, and then they announced the top 4. And I was like, and then I looked on the listings and it was like 9th place, and I was like, it's like the most terrible feeling to play all day.
The whole like announcing the top 8 thing. Obviously, I've gone through that several times. The worst was my first regional in Chicago, the very first year it started. I went undefeated until the very last round. I lost the undefeated, and I didn't top 8. And like that moment where they're calling out top 8, they're like 1st place, 2nd place. I'm like, well, maybe I'm 3rd. They're like 3rd place. I'm like, I'm 4th. They're like 4th place, 5th place. I'm like, what? And then they finished top 8, and I'm like, how did I not make it?
Like I think I literally like went up to like the front and I was like, something has to be wrong. Like this can't be right. Like what? Like they're just like, yeah, like this is. And the funny thing is, if we would have continued the whole 9 rounds, that would have actually solidified top 8. Because there was like a bunch of X1s. So literally, like if we had kept playing, like a bunch of the X1s would have been knocked out, and it would have like, if not solidified completely, like it would have given a more solid top 8 cut. But as well, I think, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, as well, in our tournament, there was, like, Table 1, and they were both, like, 6-0 going into Round 7. Then one of them won, and the one that lost didn't make top 8. He was below me, and I was like, how is this possible? Like,
their format makes, like, no sense.
I'm just like, if you're at Table 1, you should always definitely top going into the last round.
Because that was, like, the first year of the game, so that happened. That made me, like, really bitter. Because I was, like, that was, like, as I said, there's not, like, a ton of events in the Detroit area you can go to. So I got really bitter about it. But I ended up feeling better about it because that was the same year they did the Stand-Up Cup. And I won, like, the Michigan for it, and I got to go to Orlando. And then at Orlando, I was in 2nd place at the end of Swiss, but on top of it, I lost to like a guy I beat in Swiss. So I basically got like 5th, I guess you could say. But it made me feel a lot better about it because after that first regional where I went, as I said, X1 lost except for the last guy, lost to him and didn't make it. I was like, those are the moments where you're like, I almost want to quit this game. You can try so hard.
Exactly,
You
yeah.
try so hard, and then like the tournament itself just like doesn't let you actually make it.
Yeah. Well, honestly, the only thing that like keeps me into it competitively is ARG, because
Yeah.
they do a great job at like their rules and hosting the events. But
Between ARG and like now that No Limit Gaming's doing like their 1Ks and stuff, and those people are the ones I think that are really like keeping it alive, because I was so excited about Bushiroad when they made their announcement for this year that they were changing everything. It's like, oh man, this is awesome. And then obviously, like, you understand, you're from Georgia. They're like, and then these places won't have tournaments.
exactly, I'm literally like this year. Everyone that I know is like from like so I know all the people from the surrounding areas that play Cardfight. So I know people from Alabama, people from Florida, and then people from like North and South Carolina and Tennessee. And so I've talked to all of them, and everyone's like, so we're not meeting in Atlanta this year. We're meeting in freaking Jacksonville, Florida. Like, so this is so random. Like,
Yeah. Like,
but
they got rid of Chicago. There's no Ohio. Like, if I wanted to go, I could go to, like, Indiana or Toronto, but, like, it's so disappointing. Like, I don't know. Like, they do one thing right, and then they do one thing wrong, and, like,
yeah, it's
completely
just like instead of keeping like the same system that they have and improving upon it, they feel like just completely revamping the whole system every single time, which is bound to make like new things right and a lot more things wrong.
And I don't understand how they can justify taking away, like, Chicago, taking away, like, New York, like, giving it, like, I don't understand why. And then, like, California only gets one event. Like, how does California only get one event through the year? Like, as from what I remember, California gets theirs in the spring, but they don't get one in the fall.
Yeah, it's
And I'm
just
like,
for
of
me,
all places, why would you take away California? That's like your biggest pool of players. Like,
exactly. And it's like for me, like usually when there's a like event for any card game, they choose like all the biggest cities. Therefore being Atlanta, Chicago, New York, Cali,
yeah,
LA, like
I know
stuff
you
like
guys
that.
have like the
So
busiest airport in the country in Atlanta.
right. And it's just like it's so ridiculous. So
Yeah,
um but definitely yeah, I think we got like so off topic. But I mean I guess not really off topic, but like just Bushiroad events are poop. But literally but yeah, basically yeah, same thing I was saying before. So just congratulations on winning ARG. Glad you did really well. And did you have anything else that you wanted to say? Or like any shout
I
outs you
think
wanted to
that's
give?
it. I can't really think of anything.
Shout out to your wife for going grocery shopping, holding it down for the family.
Yeah,
And
she's being all patient and quiet while we finish up.
all right, man. Well, it was definitely great talking to you. Thank you for hanging out with us today and doing your deck profile. And yeah, and that has been the video, guys. Make sure you check out the ARG Circuit Series. As usual, I will have a link in the description down below. And also a link for Wasteland Gaming and Win Condition. And with that being said, that will be the video, and we are out.